Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be having a look at the top 10 most valuable regular released Doctor Who annuals. So there's some fantastic books in here and some of them fetch quite a bit of money. Now we won't be covering the sort of unofficial or bootleg annuals because they are fetching quite a bit of money, but the market is extremely volatile, so I'm just going to stick to the regular released official Doctor Who annuals and Doctor Who related books. So that's what we're going to be having a look at today. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So first one is this. This is The Amazing World of Doctor Who, and this is just basically, it's an honourable mention. So anything that you don't see in this video, to be honest, is probably only worth between £5 and £10 a pop. Maybe considerably less if you buy the books in like a job lot. But this particular one was initially mail order, although it did become available a bit later on. And it was to time with the Typhoon tea cards and also with a poster, The Amazing World of Doctor Who poster, and you could put your Typhoon tea cards onto the poster. So the book itself, only about £15, really no more than that. That's a really nice mint one. Beautiful, beautiful cover on this one as well, Christos Akilos cover. The actual sets of cards, these are around, so £10 to £15 for that. The poster itself is the hardest bit to find, and apart from the Typhoon boxes themselves, and the poster is going to set you back about £40 if you can find one. So that's just an honourable mention, along with the K9 annual here. So this one is quite scarce, and this is worth more than I thought once I had started to research the prices of these. And with all the prices that you're going to hear today, I've taken 3 average prices that the books have been making if I've got that in sales, and I've taken the average from that. So this K9 annual here, well, £20 to £25 is about the going rate for this one. So that's jumped up quite a bit since I last looked at it. Now also a bit of a surprise was the 73 and 74 Pertwee annuals. So these have also jumped up a little bit more than I was expecting, and these are going for around the £30 a piece mark. Now don't forget, this is for really nice high grade copies, generally unprice clipped, without sort of colouring and things like that inside. So do bear that in mind, that we are looking at high grade copies here. But even so, about £30 each for the 73, 74, which is a lot more than I was expecting. Now, the only other thing outside of the top 10 were these 70s Dalek annuals. Now, these really have jumped up in values. Let's get them in frame here. So they published 4 of these. I think they're fantastic. I absolutely loved them myself at the time. And they've got great artwork. Some of them have got classic TV21 reprints inside. And these Dalek annuals, on average, are going for £30 to £35 each nowadays in top condition. So bear that in mind. So then we've got number 10 in our top 10 rarest or most expensive Doctor Who annuals. Potentially not the rarest, but certainly the most expensive. And surprisingly for me at number 10 was this one. It's the very first Hartnell annual. This was 1965, and this one on average, and there's been lots and lots of sales of this one, £75. I'm here scratching my head at that because it was only a couple of years ago I found one of these for 15, and it was a lovely copy, and that was bought offline. So I'm not really sure what's happened, but you know, you only need to go onto eBay, check completed sales, and you'll see many copies of this selling for even above this. So as I said, this is the average price. It's not the highest one sold for, but it's sort of the average, top end average of what one of these books has gone for. So yeah, an astonishing £75. Now in number 8, it was a tie. And once again, I was a little bit surprised. So we had the third Patrick Troughton, the sort of the picture cover one. That was 8th equal alongside the very first of the Dalek books, which this did have quite a big print run, but trying to find copies which were in nice condition is extremely difficult. And this one, all this collection has been borrowed from my friend George. His annuals, particularly his early ones, are in astonishing condition compared to what's out there. I have a feeling that this one with this perfect spine might go for even more, but on average this one and the third Patrick Troughton, about £80 a pop now. and they were 8th equal. Now, next it was a 3-way tie for 5th most expensive, and these coming in at £90 each. So we had the Doctor Who and the Invasion from Space, not strictly an annual. It is a storybook, but it's a very, very scarce one, and it is published by World Distributors, who publish the annuals. So that one came in at 90 on average. The second 60s Dalek annual, the Dalek World, lovely, lovely book here, great, great annual. And then the first Troughton annual, the pink one, also came in at £90. Brilliant, hey? So, I mean, when you think about it, I think this one is around in decent condition, and I think you probably just need to be patient. The Dalek World, this one is hard to find. Like the first Dalek annual, they sold masses, absolutely thousands and thousands of copies, but they're just not around in very good condition. So, you know, you might just need to be patient. Once again, this one's got a perfect spine. And this one, well, these aren't that readily available. And the £90 price was an average of the two that I'd seen. So one had gone for 120 and one had gone for about 80, 85. But like George's one here, it's got a little bit of wear at the bottom of the spine. But this is an incredibly scarce book, and obviously one to keep a look out for. But it doesn't turn up very often. So they were fifth shared, 5th equal. In the 4th place, once again, I was sort of surprised at what this was going for, but it's the second William Hartnell. So this is the 66 annual, and lots of copies of this one online, you know, so it wasn't exactly a scarce book to get your hands on, but this had sold astonishingly for £100 on average. This is now a £100 book, much, much harder, I think, to get than the very first annual. George has got his in these beautiful Mylar bags here, and they really do offset the gorgeous period artwork. Now, there was a tie for second place, and it was the Dalek Outer Space book. This is like the 3rd of the 60s Dalek annuals, and this book truly is fantastic. I mean, it really, really is fantastic. I just love it. The artwork is just top-notch. I love all 3 of the Dalek annuals. In fact, even the 70s Dalek annuals are great, with perhaps the exception of the last one, but this one's particularly nice. So this was second equal, and I'm certain this is going to surprise a few people, but on average, and I saw lots of copies of this one sell, this was also a tie for second place, and this was £150 for these two. So they both went on average for about £150. Now, I'd seen one of these go for 180. I think I saw one for 220. I saw them as low as 60, 65 for this one. So if you're patient, there are bargains out there to be had. Some of these went on buy it nows, and obviously condition varies, but this was always thought of as the hardest annual to get because it's got such a low print run. But what a surprise, eh? Second equal at £150, and the same for the Dalek Outer Space book, which I would have expected to have been quite an expensive sort of a book. So that means the coveted #1 slot for books, value-wise, is this one. So astonishingly, one of these sold recently, and admittedly it was a mint, the mint can be, went for £360 recently. But on average, and there were several copies available. There's, you know, it's not particularly, I don't think it's particularly rare, but maybe it's just difficult to find in top condition. But on average, £235 for this one. So as I said, copy literally very, very recently as I filmed this, it sold for £360, which was astonishing money. But there are copies around for much, much less than that. So 235 was the aggregate, the average score for a really nice high grade one, but you could easily pick one up for 100, 120, 130 if you were patient enough. So there you go. quite a surprise, really, because I would have thought it was going to be that Pertwee one, which is going to end up being the most expensive one. So there you go. Hope you found that informative and you know which ones to keep an eye out for. It's basically all the earlier ones, anything 1974 and earlier. You're not really going to go wrong, particularly if you find them at a reasonable price. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage Doctor Who content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.